This is Davini's Library of Audiobooks. In this video, I'll be reading The Simple Way to Awaken as described by Osho in the Supreme Understanding Discourse Number 2. Osho says, "You are the vast blueness of the sky, and thoughts are just like clouds hovering around you, filling you." It says, "Look into space, into the sky, without seeing. Look with an empty eye, looking yet not looking for something, just an empty look." In other lectures, he describes this as gazing, simply gazing at the sky. This method he's teaching is another method that he's taught. It's one of the sutras. The sutra is, "Simply by looking into the blue sky beyond clouds, the serenity, one will become serene." About this sutra, Osho says, "Just looking, not thinking. The sky is infinite, it ends nowhere. The sky is not an object. It's an object linguistically. It's not an object existentially, because an object begins and ends. The sky is not an object. Just move, just look, do not think, do not create words, they will become barriers. Not even blue sky should be said, do not verbalize. Suddenly, because there is no object, just a vacuum, suddenly you will become aware of yourself." So becoming aware of yourself is the easiest to describe result of this method. And serenity. When this happens, all movement of the mind stops, no desire arises, and with the non-arising of desire, the serenity. You become silent, serene. A sudden peace explodes in you. You have become like the sky. Look, penetrate into it. And the look must be a non-thinking one. Remember this. Then you will feel the same sky within, the same dimension within, the same space and blueness and emptiness. That is why Shiva in the sutra says simply, "The same sky is inside you. You are the vast blueness of the sky, and thoughts are just like clouds hovering around you, filling you. But the gaps exist, the sky exists." As I write the method, you gaze at the sky, then you close your eyes and gaze at the inner sky. You might try pausing the video and trying that now. The result: when you recognize that you're the boundless mind, that you still exist in the gap of silence, you remember pure, say, existence. You, for the first time, remember who you are, and you realize you couldn't be anything else. I describe it as perfection. Osho's 3 concepts for this method. 1. Mind doesn't exist as an entity, only thoughts exist. Just like the sky does not exist. Clouds exist, sky does not exist. 2. Thoughts exist separate from you. They are not one with your nature. Thoughts come and go. You remain, you persist. You are like the sky. It never comes, it never goes. It is always there. 3. Thoughts are things, forces, and you have to handle them very carefully. Break down those 3. Number 1, mind does not exist as an entity. Only thoughts exist. This is described by maybe Naropa's song here that Osho is teaching about. And Osho explains how there's no mind, that millions of thoughts all together give the illusion that there's a mind, just like a crowd. There's millions of people in a crowd, so you think that there's a crowd, but there is no such thing as a crowd. There's only individuals. Watch, and you will find thoughts. You will never come across the mind. 2 is you. You abide. Not as you, because that too is a thought. You abide as pure consciousness. That's not your name, not your form, not your body. It is pure consciousness, is what you are. And that's when you realize that thoughts are guests. 3, again, thoughts are things, forces that you have to handle carefully. And deal with that. If you become more aware, a thought simply disappears. It melts because awareness is a greater energy than thought. Now when you do this gazing and this look, you're doing some awareness, so it's that greater energy. It's going to cause thought to disappear. That causes you to unfocus, decondition, because it's a natural gaze, it's a natural look, and that destroys the distinctions in your mind, which are unnatural. They're trained and created. The concepts in this process, the entire process is a deep insight into the mind, nothing else. So this awakening, this enlightenment is just an insight. It's just something to realize. You abide as pure consciousness. Again, you abide. You're only that which abides. And here Osho describes many concepts about thoughts, that each thought is creating something for you and for others, so be very alert. Describes further the process of dissolution of thoughts. Describes how it doesn't make any sense to fight thoughts because you're another thought. That thoughts do stop, but not by your stopping. They stop by you becoming more aware, not by any effort on your part to stop them. If you try to stop them, they never stop, they resist. The more you look, the less you find. The deeper you look, the thoughts disappear, disperse. Once you know this, then the key is in your hand. This key unlocks the most secret phenomenon, the phenomenon of Buddhahood. Because once you realize that you can destroy thoughts, once you realize that you can rest in a peace at will and destroy thoughts at will, you have the choice to move into that, and you have the choice to dissolve thoughts, because awareness is like fire to thought. When the light burns in the house, the darkness cannot enter. Thoughts are like darkness. They enter only if there is no light within. And if you become really integrated in your awareness, then thoughts don't even enter you, and nothing can penetrate you. Teaching more about the gazing, you simply watch, you simply remain conscious, you don't think. If some thought enters, as it will enter, because thoughts are not yours, they're floating in the air, just become aware of it. If you become perfectly aware, then miles of gaps, it's referring to silence, miles of gaps of space will be revealed to you. And in those gaps, satori's happen, enlightenments happen, revelations happen. In those gaps, the truth knocks at your door, the guest comes, godliness is realized, or however you want to call it. You should let pure clarity be in your eyes, all your senses, pure perception. Only then can existence be revealed to you. Only when you're present are you going to notice existence and reality. And when you see it, you'll see that there is a vast oneness. There's no boundaries to anything. You're not stuck in your head. You're not in your head. You'll experience a merging, that all things are merged together as one experience. The result of this, as Buddha would put it, is that you've forgotten. The distinction between you and Buddha is you don't remember who you are, Buddha remembers. You're the same as Buddha, but he remembers and you don't remember. He's awake, you're asleep. You still have the same nature as a Buddha. When your perception becomes clear, suddenly in a moment, in fact in no time, which is a deeper phenomenon, without time, you are fully awake. You're a Buddha. You become the enlightened, the awakened one. You don't gain anything out of it because you already had it. You gain nothing. But you lose many things. You lose misery, pain, anguish, anxiety, ambition, jealousy, hatred, possessiveness, violence, and everything else. You don't gain anything. You just remember what you forgot. Which means you should consider if you want to lose those things, because it will be hard to get them back. If this becomes your experience, going back to if you get this key, if it becomes a fact of your own knowing, if you realize it, then suddenly many things start changing. Because you have understood such a deep thing about the mind, many things can follow, and they will follow as this unfolds. You always remember that which abides. That is your nature, your Tao. And the Tao is the unspeakable. You could call it the beyond. You can't call it by any name. There is no name that you can reference it by. You could call it something like the essence of existence. Always be attentive to that which never comes and never goes, just like the sky. As I write, gaze at the sky, then close your eyes and gaze at the inner sky. When you do this, suddenly a moment comes when you are attuned to this gazing, to this look of not looking. The clouds will disappear for you. Only the vast sky remains. It's a very simple exercise, very powerful results. I recommend it. Thank you.